he began opera broadcasts from the stage of the Metropolitan Opera House. He started the NBC Symphony Orchestra and induced the world-famous Arturo Toscanini to become its conductor. Like everything else in his illustrious career, Mr. Sarnoff got the title of General the old-fashioned way. He earned it. Shortly before the Normandy invasion, Colonel Sarnoff went overseas to serve as communications consultant to General Eisenhower. For his service, he was promoted to Brigadier General, a title he carried proudly for the rest of his life. When the war was over and General David Sarnoff was back in harness at RCA, one of his top priorities, his new baby, was the development of color television. He believed in an electronic method of producing color pictures, and after many setbacks and costly battles with the promoters of other devices, his method became the standard for color reception in America. It still is. And finally, David Sarnoff opened another door to the future with his far-sighted support of the communications satellite, the revolutionary new tool in the world of communications. And now you know why I called him a visionary. For his genius in the field of electronics, for his leadership, for his lasting contributions to the broadcast industry. The first person inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame is General David Sarnoff. To acknowledge this honor, General Sarnoff's eldest son and former chairman of the board for RCA, Mr. Robert Sarnoff.
My father would be proud and honored to receive this singular recognition from the industry to which he devoted so much of his life, thought, and energy. And I thank you in his behalf. My father was both a dreamer and a realist. He dreamt of the limitless possibilities of electronic communications for the benefit of mankind, but also realized the many frailties of human nature. While we know that television has already had a profound and possibly traumatic impact on society, it is still too early to develop a broad historical perspective. Despite broadcasting's asserted shortfalls, real or imagined, I am confident that an unbiased look at the total picture will lead to the conclusion that, on balance, its contributions are overwhelmingly positive. I am certain that were my father here tonight, he would share that view. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Allen.
Thank you very much. If General Sarnoff was the father of television, then Milton Berle could be considered its mother. I don't just mean because of his habit of dressing up in outlandish outfits, but because he nursed the infant medium and carried it to a point where it could stand on its own. To millions of people throughout the world, he became known as Mr. Television, Uncle Milty, the man who turned Tuesday into Berle's Day, and in the process became the most highly paid and highly regarded entertainer to hit the tube. Now, the image of Milton as mother, come to think of it, is especially valid to me on a personal level, because in the 1920s, Milton, who was then a teenager, was playing in vaudeville with a young lady. That was the note with which he started his act, as a matter of fact, every night. Their act was billed as Kennedy and Berle, And on the same bill in Akron, Ohio, was a comedy act called Montrose and Allen. Belle Montrose was my mother, and at the time I was about 2 years old. Now in vaudeville, if you had children, they would accompany you to the theater and wait off stage till you were finished with your turn. So my mother asked half the team of Kennedy and Berle to keep an eye on her incipient delinquent, and that is how Milton Berle actually became my first babysitter. And since that time, Milton has gone on to become a babysitter, in a sense, for the entire nation, certainly for a generation, keeping people amused and entertained for what seems like forever.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing America's #1 television star, who is full of the devil every Tuesday night, Milton Berle! You look like the place I just came from.
Makeup!
That makeup!
Born Milton Berlinger in New York City, July 12th, 1908, and at a very early age showed signs of being a performer. From the early photo, we can see here that his hero even then was Henny Young. Milton was the fourth of 5 children of Moses and Sarah Berlinger. He won a contest at age 4 impersonating Charlie Chaplin and actually worked with that comic genius in 1914 in a film titled Tilly's Punctured Romance. Milton played the part of the newsboy, but it was his introduction to slapstick. As we've mentioned, he also worked vaudeville in the team of Kennedy and Berle. He made film shorts such as this one.
Here's open-eyed Timoria, here's looking at you. There's nothing in this world I'd rather do. Clink, 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 lift your glasses high, don't you think that I'm a lucky guy? Oh boy, what a view. Here's looking at you.
Thanks, Mom. I didn't hear it. The nearest I ever got to the Winter Garden was the Roxy, but I'll tell you the truth. I'm at the present time at the Paradise Restaurant over here. It's a marvelous restaurant, very beautiful. 3 waiters to each table. One gives you the check, the other 2 revive you. It's wonderful.
Milton starred in Broadway shows such as the Ziegfeld Follies, and by 1937 headed out to Hollywood with his mom and biggest fan to star in films. But it was television that was able to utilize all his impressive skills at once.
Must be love. I recognize the smell. Your head is up in the sky. My heart is standing still. It doesn't beat. Well, she must be sweet. She's gorgeous.
Fairy tales can come true.
It can happen to you if you're young at heart.
I can't listen to whims.